Welcome to Central News, I'm Amy Forrest. In today's news, New Zealand Book Month is shaping up to be a success with the many events around our regions. Tauranga publishing company Ocean Books has held many events over the month of March to help promote the art of writing and the industry as a whole. Editor-in-Chief Jenny Argent says the New Zealand publishing industry is hard to break into, and the Ocean Books provides a platform for authors to self-promote.
Well, the one that's been occupying me most is our Celebrate, 9 new books coming out from Ocean Books at our next launch, which is on Friday the 22nd, 5 to 7 at the Nautilus, and everybody is very welcome to come along.
Students at a Western Bay of Plenty school were speechless when they arrived to find trailer loads of rubbish and a used car dumped on their school grounds. Last Thursday, Pahoja school teachers and principal Marcus Norris dumped about 4 trailer loads of recyclable rubbish in the courtyard of the school in a risky plan to get children thinking. Mr. Norris says they just wanted to do something to make the students stop and see what kind of direction they went with their wonderings and their thinkings after that. A Tauranga man who admitted to paying a contractor to cut down trees so he could have a better view from his Otomotai home has been fined more than $45,000. Tauranga business owner Brian Kent was fined $45,800 in Tauranga District Court after pleading guilty to breaching the Resource Management Act and Reserves Act. The charges came after 11 native trees were cut down in a section of McArdle's Bush in the Daisy Hardwick Reserve next to the Waikareo estuary. The area is publicly owned land and protected for ecological use. Now for our region's weather. Hamilton, the sun is back tomorrow with a high of 22 and a low of 8. And much the same for you, Tauranga, with a high of 21 and a low of 13. Just ahead, the Tauranga business case. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. The Tauranga Business Case campaign had quite a bit of interest over the summer. Hilary caught up with Andrew from Priority One to find out about the campaign and the other things happening around the city.
Last time we spoke, we'd talked about the fact that we'd gone national with the Business Attraction Campaign, or as we call it, the Tauranga Business Case. Over the summer holidays, we focused regionally, as we did last year, with some billboard activity, and particularly with table talkers and collateral into cafes and motels. And it's been very successful again. Last year we had 6 inquiries from holidaying people and businesses here, and we've had the same again this year, although 2 of the inquiries are quite substantial, with 2 Australian businesses who were represented by people trolling through New Zealand looking at opportunities, and who have decided to put business cases forward for Tauranga. So we're very excited about that. One's a plastics manufacturer and one's a food processor. So all up maybe 40 to 50 jobs, potentially more. Certainly in the long term, much more.
How are the plans coming for a tertiary campus in the city centre?
Going well. We work with what's called the Tertiary Partnership here, which is the Bay of Plenty Polytechnic, University of Waikato, and Awaniarangi from Whakatane, and soon we hope Wairiki from Rotorua, as well as Smart Growth and Priority One, all on a team really to look at growing the provision of regionally relevant tertiary training from, if you like, from certificates right through to PhDs. And so an application has been, a comprehensive application has been put together by the Tertiary Partnership to the Regional Council's Infrastructure Fund, and that seeks a mix of grant and investment funding from the Regional Council Fund, totalling 15 million. And we're about to submit an application to the Tauranga Energy Consumer Trust for a similar amount, which I'm sure if the regional fund is approved, that will then go into the thinking for the Energy Consumer Trust as they consider the application. All going well, we could see the first building in the Tauranga CBD up in 2017 for an intake of students. But it's not just about Tauranga, it's right across the region. It's bringing greater tertiary provision that's relevant to the region from Eastern Bay of Plenty right through to Rotorua to Tauranga. So a very exciting project.
Now, Young Innovators, tell us about that.
Well, we have a team called InStep, which engages our 9 secondary schools in the Western Bay of Plenty with our business community. And one of their initiatives is the Young Innovator Awards, and we're now into our 4th Young Innovator Awards. And essentially it's a program that targets junior high school students and senior high school students, and this year our Young Professionals Forum, which is a 300-strong group of young professionals under the age of 40, who essentially develop an idea around a product or a service. So it's just an idea. And they're judged on several areas of criteria such as research, innovation, sustainability, communications. And then that goes through to a judging event and an awards evening in August. And we always have a keynote speaker. One that was really close to my heart was Sir Paul Callaghan just prior to his death last year. And the year before that was Sir Ray Avery. Last year we had Mark Pennington, who's a world-renowned designer based in New Zealand. And this year it's David Darling, similarly a very innovative thinker, thought leader, if you like. So a great event, and it really captures and grows the innovation capability of our young people, which for a region that's working to build its competitive advantages, it's really important to start at that level.
And how can we actually enrol for that or get involved?
Well, if they go onto the website to start with, where all the information is there, including registration forms, it's yia.co.nz, simple as that. And they'll find all the information there about entries and prizes and so forth. So we encourage businesses as well as individuals to get on the website and have a crack at it.
How is the broadband rolling out?
Well, we're into year 3 of our ultrafast broadband rollout. And that's driven by Ultrafast Fibre, a subsidiary of Well Networks in the Waikato. And so we're actually ahead of Auckland in terms of ultrafast broadband rollout. The city centre is well catered for now, and out into the suburbs. And I think Mount Maunganui is being fitted out with ultrafast broadband now. So as a region, again, it's another competitive advantage for businesses and individuals to be based here.
And how are the plans to get business back into the city centre going?
Very positive. We've seen, as a consequence of investments and decisions by Tauranga City Council, it's becoming increasingly attractive for businesses to locate back into our city centre. So where we saw businesses leave over the last few years, that's turned around now. And certainly the announcement by Trustpower to establish a corporate headquarters in the city centre for 450 people is very exciting news, and we know they're well progressed through an RFP seeking interest from developers. So that's on the go. We've seen about 6 other businesses move back into the city centre. So the tide's turned, if you like.
So what other exciting things have been happening over summer?
Well, again, in the city centre, we're seeing a lot of potential development happening here. For a start, the hotel project is well underway, with the City Council having put out a request to developers and hotel chains for expressions of interest, and that gained a strong response from 2 contenders, and one of those has been chosen now to go to due diligence on a site in the city centre for an international hotel. It's public knowledge that's the Tainui Group, who have a strong partnership with Accor. So I think they're looking at the moment to see established a Travelodge. So for us, that's a coming-of-age piece of infrastructure that we just don't have here that other cities do.
For more information on Priority One, visit priorityone.co.nz. Coming up next, have you got the Yes Factor? Welcome back. Now, we heard from Leith Vickers and John O'Bey at the end of last year about the recent funds gained from the Ministry of Youth Development to invest in youth-friendly projects. Now, one of those projects is in full swing, so Leith Vickers is back to tell us more.
Okay, we've designed a youth talent quest along the lines of the X Factor, and we've called it the Yes Factor after our organisation.
Cool. And what is your role within this?
I'm the Youth Leadership Development Coordinator, and my role in this is to support youth through the organisation of the event.
Cool. And now tell me, who is going to be judging the Yes Factor?
Right, at the moment we have 2 judges confirmed. We've Bill Ward, who is an iconic band member of the 60s/70s, if you know Human Instinct. We also now have Ken Knight on board, as you know very well from his years here at Mishmash.
Yeah, and do you know any of the things that they might be looking for in a contestant?
We are looking for technical ability, but we're also looking for personality and presentation.
Now, when and where are these events going to be held, these auditions?
Okay, the auditions will be, we're running 2 audition days. The first is in Te Araha on the 21st of March. This will be at Future Te Araha from 4 till 8 p.m. The second date for auditions is the 23rd of March, and that will be split between 2 locations. So we'll be here in Matamata in the morning from 9 a.m. till midday at Starfish Social Services. Then we will move in the afternoon to Morrinsville, where we'll be auditioning at the Morrinsville Community House from 1 o'clock.
Great, it sounds like a lot of fun. And tell me, when is the final to be held?
The final will be the 6th of April in the Te Araha Domain from 5 p.m.
And what prizes are up for grabs?
In total, we have a $1,200 prize pool with $500 going for the first place.
Now, a huge part of gaining the funding for these projects around the area was about getting local youth involved in activities. So you've had a lot of students that have been involved with the organising committee. So can you tell me, have you observed any sort of benefits that they've gained or skills that they may have gained from it?
Sure. So, some of the youth involved in this are very confident and wanted to do new and challenging things. Also, some of the youth involved in this were very unconfident, and actually just being a part of a team has been significant for them, and I've seen them grown from being observers to having the confidence to actually have an opinion, which has been great. It's a huge ask for some of them.
So a lot of them would have been involved in committee meetings and things that they would have never had to do before?
We're not running along a committee meeting line. We have 5 groups, production, performance, practicalities, and I meet with each group on a weekly basis. So they're not dealing with a group of 15 or 20 people. In each case, there's 4 or 5 of us that have a meeting and pave the way forward from that.
Yeah, oh, that's quite nice to break it down so it's not so intimidating.
It's way easier for them.
Yeah, and so have they, do you know of any challenges that have been faced along the way?
Oh, we've had significant challenges, and I'm sure that's event coordination through and through. I mean, one of the things we're facing at the moment is just simply not knowing how many to cater for. We could get 300 or 400 people attending this event, but we could easily get 3,000 or 4,000 people attending the event. So I don't know how many hot dogs we need.
Exactly, that's definitely a tricky part of event organising.
And it's crucial to get that one right.
Exactly, you don't want to run short. Now, how can people register if they've got a hidden talent somewhere?
We don't require people to register for their auditions because understanding youth realise that they don't like to book in advance when they're doing things. So it's just a case of turning up on the day for auditions. And from that we will select 12 finalists who will be going forward into the main event.
Wonderful. And are there any restrictions for entry?
I'm hoping to get a huge amount of diversity. I'm not aware of a comedian or a magician yet, and I'd really like to have a real range. But in saying that, we won't be putting on any performances that involve fire.
Okay, and what about the sort of age range of performers?
Okay, contestants will be from 14 to 21.
And tell me, how can viewers find out more information about entering for the Yes Factor?
Right, number of ways. We are on Facebook, Yes Factor, or through the Youth Empowerment Service, which is our Facebook page. You can also find our Harlem Shake on YouTube, if you're daring, and that has the audition details on that too.
And do you have any motivation or tips for those who are hoping to enter?
Was it Fred Dagg that used to say, just give it a go?
Yeah.
Give it a go, yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good tip. And have you heard of anyone that's coming along to the auditions that perhaps has a unique or different talent?
I've got diversity going on at the moment, and I'm quite happy with that. I won't say anything more just in case they pull out and we end up with disappointment, but diversity is what we're interested in, and it seems that we're appealing to a broad range of talent.
So tell me, how are the community supporting this event?
We've had some really, really great offers to get behind this. We've got Te Araha Print, who have given us huge discounts on our posters. We have had a big discount from Revision Marketing in Morrinsville, who printed all of our T-shirts for a considerable discount. Future Te Araha providing the use of their premises for any auditions, and they're offering staff and backup support if the weather isn't suitable. Also really happy to have Youthline on board, and they will be here for the day of the event. They've also contributed money towards the printing of our T-shirts.
So if you have a hidden talent and you're between 14 and 21, make sure you head down to one of the venues for an audition. Just ahead, the city's waste and where it goes. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. The Tauranga City Council have launched a new campaign to educate the public on the city's wastewater and what should not be flushed down the toilet. Hilary went along to the treatment plant to find out more.
So we have issues with wastewater overflows from time to time, and that can impact on the water quality in the harbour, and so it's quite important for us to try and get the message out there, I guess, about what not to flush, and that there can be issues that can have some quite serious impacts.
What is the most common cause of an overflow in Tauranga?
There's a whole range of things. It's amazing what causes blockages. Fats can build up in the system, and that's one of the major issues. Tree roots are another one, and I guess the majority of others would be foreign objects, and that could be a whole range of things, like I said.
So how does the sewer system work in Tauranga?
It's a network of pump stations, and this pumps the sewage to our two plants, one here in Chapel Street and one in Tamanga. And there's about 140 plus pump stations, and they operate night and day, 24/7. So.
Where are the pump stations located?
They're all underground, and most people don't know where they are. They don't see them. Unless you know what you're looking for. They're automated pump stations, and they just hum along by themselves.
How much are wastewater overflows costing ratepayers?
So it depends a little bit. I guess to clear the average blockage, you'd be looking at probably at least $1,500. So that's just a one-off. If it's more complicated, you might be looking at easily double that. But then, of course, the potential for impact on the wider area, if we have to shut down beaches, for example, or maybe there's a triathlon on the weekend that the overflow occurs, you might be shutting down a citywide event. So they can have some pretty serious consequences.
How do we know when there is a wastewater overflow on our property?
Possibly at your home, there'll be your gully traps outside your house will be overflowing. There'll be nasty smells, obviously, and your toilet will be slow to empty or overflowing.
So what is the list of things that we shouldn't be flushing down the toilet?
Well, there's a whole range of things. It's pretty common sense, really. How do I describe it? The catchphrase is, if you didn't do it, don't flush it. And that's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. So inorganic things, nappies, dental floss, cotton buds, all those kind of things, kids' toys, towels, underwear, all these random things. If it's not organic, it shouldn't be going down the loo, basically.
So what are some of the more interesting, peculiar objects that the Tauranga City Council has found in the sewer system?
We've certainly had a few random things. I guess the most random would be an entire deep fat fryer. And quite how that got down the system we're still a bit baffled about. So that would be the most random. But Saturday and Friday, Saturday nights downtown, the pump stations get blocked up with underwear, which is an interesting one. Beach towels, kids' toys. Yeah, there's lots of random stuff.
Now, a big problem is actually people washing hot oil and hot fats down the sink. Why is that a problem, and how should we actually be disposing of that properly? Yeah, right.
So fats and oils, basically, when they flow further down the sewer system, will solidify. And if you get enough of that, it can cause the whole pipe to block, basically, and overflow, which is pretty grim. So really the answer for fats and oils is to let them cool or solidify in the kitchen, and then you can dispose of them in the rubbish bin, or if you've got a compost bin, they can be disposed of there as well. But hot oil with hot water down the system just really moves the problem further down, but doesn't get rid of it.
And tree roots can be a problem too. How's that?
The tree roots can break the sewer line. They break into it looking for the moisture, and then they block the sewer line. So prevents the sewer working efficiently, which again backs up and causes a blockage.
So what are the council's tips on actually preventing wastewater overflows?
Well, yeah, I guess it goes back to that key message: if you didn't do it, don't flush it. And really, that's what it's all about. So, just using that common sense and not putting things down the system that shouldn't be there. There's a real cost associated with that, and so we just ask people to, think before they flush. Really.
So you're asking people to actually fix their gully traps. What is a gully trap, and how can we fix them?
So gully traps are small drains around the outside of your house, and they're designed to prevent wastewater from, say, your toilet or your sinks overflowing all through your house if there's a blockage. The only problem is if they're in areas where rainwater can get into them, and it's quite common for older gully traps to be like that. It means the system can get filled up with rainwater when there's heavy rain, and that can cause quite major overflows into the harbour.
So if there is actually a wastewater flow into the harbour, what can happen?
Yeah, so wastewater is obviously full of all sorts of nasty things, and it's not the sort of stuff you want into the harbour, and it can cause a health risk. So bacteria is probably the biggest health risk. So for people who are swimming, they've got the potential to get some quite nasty illnesses, and that's basically what happens when you get wastewater in the harbour.
So is Tauranga actually particularly bad for overflows?
Tauranga has had some problems in the past, but in fact in recent years we've actually been really good, and there's been some really good gains in reducing overflows, which is really great. It's still important to get that message out there, and so we're still trying to, do as much as we can.
How does the council fix a blockage?
A blockage at one of our pump stations is quite involved. We have to send in one of our subcontractors, and these mechanical engineers go in to unblock the pump station. This involves some pretty nasty work, lifting the pumps and assessing what the cause is. And it's tough stuff.
And if there was a blockage on someone's property?
I think that can be either done privately. You call your local plumber, who's a specialist at it, and he'll assess where the blockage is, and hopefully it's not too hard a job to do.
To view the brochure and find out anything about Tauranga, visit tauranga.gov.nz. That is news for today. Make sure you check out our Facebook page and let us know your views. Also, if you have any local news, including your own video or photos, go to our website and hit upload. Thanks for joining us. I'll be back tomorrow night with more guests from in and around our regions. I'm Amy Forrest. Have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.